What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It happened. They re-released the Stillwater Bayou map. It's back. It's in the rotation. Crytek did some improvements on it, graphical improvements, but they also did some rework of the actual compound. So today we're going to go ahead and go through and take a look at some of the changes. You know, a lot of them aren't very big, but a lot of them are pretty nice changes. So we're going to go ahead and go through the map. Hopefully we're on a live server here. We'll see what happens as far as enemies go. But, you know, without the test server, this is all we have right now. So let's get to it. All right, guys, we're moving from the spawn point through the swamp. And I want to say the first thing I notice is the water and the increased foliage. I mean, they just did a lot of work here as far as how the actual swamp looks. The water's got a little, right here anyway, like a green tint to it. Looks very stagnant. It's got this algae in it, which is very cool. But yeah, overall, I'd say the details they made, they created in the map, really bring an immersion and, I don't know, just make the map look a lot better. All right, guys, the first compound we're looking at is Blanchette Graves. There's really kind of two big changes here. The first one being the actual, this side of the church. It would be the north side of the church. This area right here used to just be a little box room, and the only way you could get to it was a window on the east side. Just one window. You had to vault to get in or out of it. It was a choke point. Most of the time you'd put traps there, or, you know, there have been times I just kind of sit back here and wait for somebody to peek their head through the window and they get a shotgun to the face. So now what they've done is put in this doorway here. So the room is no longer closed off. It used to just be this window. Now it's the doorway and the window, completely clear. There's no door on it. There's no partial door. The only covering, you know, into the church is this piece of canvas and a partial door here. So those are the big changes. That's the big changes on the chart. Now we'll go over here and check out the other change. All right, guys, the next area that was changed is over here to the north of the church in this grave area. This used to be a pretty open area. There are many times I crossed through here and got compromised on the way through. So they added right in here a lot of these, I don't know what you call these, tombs, I guess. Sarcophaguses. I'm not really sure. Oh, they even put names on these. What if those actually mean anything? That's crazy. But anyway, basically they just put a lot of cover in here. So it's not quite as open. Gives you some place to take cover if you get shot as you're coming in here or you're rotating. Overall, with the changes in Blanchette, even though they're kind of small, I think they're meaningful. I like, and you'll see this throughout the map, just areas of cover that didn't used to be there. So places where you can use to advance your position, rotate. But I really like, ooh, somebody got a bounty. I like the changes that were made at Blanchette. I like that door on the end of the church, and I like these graves here, this cover. All right, guys, next we're checking out Reynard Mill and Lumber. There's one significant change here. So the big change here is this used to be just a sealed off room. You could get in right here and the window I just jumped through. Well, they finally added stairs to connect the upstairs and the downstairs here. So it makes this... It really helps on both sides. It's a little bit harder for somebody to set up camp in here and really dig in, so it's hard to push in because you can come at them from either the bottom or the top, depending on where they're at, and they have to kind of split up their forces to defend both of them. So I really like this change. I really love these stairs. Another thing they added was this window. I don't believe this window was here before, so it was just a solid wall and just kind of added to the ability to sit in here and just kind of hold corners and wait for somebody to push in. So anything that can make the fights a little bit more dynamic and, you know, take away the possibility of somebody just setting up camp in here, I really like. So those are the changes at Reynard Mill and Lumber. Let's head on to the next compound. Guys, here's another example of just kind of some of the changes they made aesthetically to the maps. You can see here in this big open space of water, you know, right up next to Elaine and Sons. You know, I think it's very cool how they added, it's almost like a current effect in this big pool of water. It's a very subtle change, but as soon as I ran up here, I could tell that this was a little bit different. So just another one of those aesthetic changes they made. You know, a lot of it has to do with the water and how the water works, and that's that applies across the new CryEngine. But as I ran through here, I thought this looked pretty cool, so I thought I'd make a note of it. Guys, here's another spot where you can kind of check out the aesthetic change to make things a little bit more real. You got the same improved water, but like these lily pads right here, I don't believe they were there before. Some of this leaf litter on the edges of the water. I think all this looks good and really adds to the realism of the map. But just another place I thought I'd note as I was moving through the bayou. All right, guys, the next compound we're taking a look at is Stillwater Bend. Not much change with this compound. I'll show you the main change here in a second, but there was also some other things I wanted to show you. You'll see this a lot around the map. Things like additional signage, imported stones, this sign over here, crypts and stones, engraved to order. There's a lot of this kind of stuff around the map. It's almost too numerous to note. There's just so much of it. Signage on buildings like this right here. Just a lot of that kind of detail was added with this update, which I appreciate. I think it, again, brings out the realism of the map. But back to Stillwater Bend. The main change here is this fence line. This used to be one solid fence, pretty much all the way down to the gap that's over here. Right there, and it was a gap you had to crawl through. They opened this fence up. They took a section of it out. They opened this up here, so a lot of the times you're pushing through this cornfield to get up here, and once you got here, you couldn't really do anything. You either had to go through that gap, which sucks. You'd have to run around the end of that and come in over here on the north side somewhere, or you'd have to come all the way down to the end of the fence. I had taken out multiple enemy players in this house as they're trying to navigate this fence. So even though it's a small change, I think it's a good change. That's pretty much it here at Stillwater Bend. All right, guys, our next compound is Lock Bay Docks. There's a couple changes here that are worth mentioning. Let's not scare these dogs. Shut up, dogs. Okay. The first one is up here at this window. They apparently made this window a lot easier to access, which it looks like they did. Oh, yeah. You used to have to vault to go into this window, I believe. You no longer have to do that. Looks like you could just run straight into the window, which is pretty cool, actually, because I've pushed from up here many a time, and the vault always kind of slows you down, so that's cool. Another thing is, I believe, unless it got shot out, this window normally has glass in it, just like that one. Maybe it got shot out. There was a fight over here before I came over, so maybe that got shot out, but there's normally glass in that window. Okay, another big change, not big, another change is this window right here. So there used to not be a window here at all. There for sure wasn't a way to get up to anything, and I believe you can vault, yeah, you can vault in and out of this window now, making it kind of viable to push from this side. I believe, or I don't believe this ladder was here either. So you've got this ladder. You can push in from that door. You could climb up here, push in from this window. So they have made this compound a lot easier to get into from the outside, which I like. I like that change. All right, guys, the next compound we're going to take a look at is a pitching crematorium. It doesn't sound like, from what I've read and watched, that there's many changes here, but we'll take a look at what has been done here. The first big change, I don't know if you want to call it a big change. The first change is coming down this ramp that's on the, the southernmost side of the compound. This can be used to push. The big change here is they added these pillars. So as you're coming down the ramp, it's not just a slick wall and all you can use is these carts. They put these pillars here so you can get a little bit of cover. I don't know. An okay change, I guess. Anything that can be used to help getting into a underground boss compound, I'll take. So that's the changes here. Okay, we'll head around to this side. There was, I guess, in the patch notes, they said that this entrance over here on the northeast side was changed. I'm not sure what was done. I mean, this may be a little... let me take care of these zombies. It may be a little wider. It kind of looks like a little wider, and maybe these stairs aren't quite as steep as they used to be. And maybe this landing is a little bit bigger. I don't know. Without a comparison photo, it's kind of hard to tell. It looks pretty much the same. I will say maybe this wall right here is moved back a tad. You can see more of the stairs coming up. I'm not sure. Whatever they did, it's not huge. And, I'm just going by muscle memory here and what looks different. But that's pretty much it here that I can tell. All right, the next change over here at Pitching Crematorium is on this west side. There's this elevator thing that goes down and into the lair. They took the roof off this. It used to have kind of a roof on it. Get up here on the roof, mess around. I'm not sure why they changed this, but they did. And I don't know. I actually think it looks a little bit better, to be honest with you. But yeah, that's the changes on this side of the map. All right, guys, we've went through all the compounds. I've kind of showed you the changes that they made at the compounds, the big ones anyway. Now we're to the part of the video where I maybe give a little bit of my opinion. Do I like what they did? I love the aesthetic changes. I love how they updated everything, added new signage, different places. The water really adds another element. Not saying the water before was bad, but it's way better now. I like the addition of the vegetation. I think everything looks better with this version of CryEngine. It's just a lot easier on the eyes, if you will. The actual compound changes they did make, I think, for the most part, they're great. I like it when they improve how a battle would occur at those compounds. Making it a little less stalemate-proof is what I would say. Giving multiple ways to get in and get out of compounds will definitely help with stalemates, for sure. I do think they could have done a little bit more. I would have liked to seen them do a little bit more, or a lot more, on the next map they release. I think the big opportunity where they could have improved some things is any of these compounds that have a basement. I feel like there needs to be a rework in how you can access these things, more peaks, not only things that'll help the pushing team, but, maybe open it up a little bit on the inside for the bounty teams as well. But I think that's where they could have made some additional changes, at least tried. I think that would have been pretty cool of them. All right, hunters, that wraps up our deep dive into the changes in the re-released Stillwater Bayou. I hope this breakdown helps you navigate the updated compounds and keeps you one step ahead of the competition. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. It really helps out the channel. Also, let me know in the comments which compound changes you are most excited for, or if you've already noticed anything different while playing. Don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss an update. I've got a lot more Hunt Showdown content coming your way, including more gameplay breakdowns, tips, and live reactions. Speaking of live, I stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9:30 p.m. Central Standard Time over on Twitch at twitch.tv/TripleW. So if you want to hang out, talk strategy, or watch me hunt in real time, come join the fun. Thanks for watching, and as always, keep those sights steady and those footsteps quiet. Catch you in the bayou.